Hi, this is Nick from Volume 1, and the brand new Volume 1 podcast was made possible by Royal Credit Union, Chippewa Valley Eye Clinic, and DeborahBecker.com, offering State Farm Insurance.
Welcome to the Volume 1 podcast, everybody. Episode 8. Baby, we did it. It's another beautiful spring day in the valley. The April vibes are heavy. The pollen is thick in the air. It's been raining every day for what feels like an eternity. You got to love it. My name is Eric Christensen. I'll be your host. I want to introduce my co-host, producer of the pod, Nick Meyer. How we doing, Nick?
I'm good. I'm vaccinated. You're vaccinated.
Yeah, we're feeling
The world's
good.
becoming vaccinated.
Slowly, yes.
Yeah, one giant injection across the country, and we'll be all in better shape
They
soon,
should
hopefully.
just do one big needle for everybody.
Just squirt it down from the airplanes. Open your mouth.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
That's one way to do it. They probably brainstormed that.
It would have been more efficient than what they're doing. One at a time, come on.
Yeah. Feeling good, though. Positive vibes. We have an incredible show here for you today, too, folks. Going to be a great one. I can feel it in my fingers, although that might be the vax, too. But good vibes today. Later on in the program, we all know Eau Claire is known for a little something called art. You ever heard of it? Pretty big deal, I guess. May is Creative Economy Month in Eau Claire. It's basically a month-long celebration of all the ways the arts impact the local economy. So we're talking art with Sara Larsen from Downtown Eau Claire, Inc. She's going to be on later. Lots of good stuff planned. We'll get into it. But first, we got all kinds of local stuff to talk about. The scuttlebutt, if you will. The 411, and we got two.
Was that Scuttlebud?
Is it butt?
It's butt.
I thought it was butt.
Yeah, it's Scuttlebutt.
Oh, man, my bad.
Yeah. The Scuttlebud is something else entirely.
Okay, well, I'm a scuttlebutt for this intro. Well, let's go with the 411. We got the 411, and we got two amazing panelists here to help us out. First, she's a local comedian, a photographer, figure skater, best triple axel in the valley, if you ask me. My great friend and next-door neighbor, Christina Wolff, is here.
Hey,
Hello.
welcome.
Hi, Christina.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. We've been riding out the pandemic together.
Yep.
Neighborly vibes, just having
Bonfires.
fires.
Potted
Lots of
up.
fires.
Potted up, are you?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Podding. We're podding, and now we're podding.
Yeah. Oh, full
Nice.
circle.
Pretty cool. Next, he is a local author, editor, and English teacher at Memorial High School, the founder of local literary publication Barstow and Grand, and one of Volume 1's first ever contributors, all the way back to when these guys were just little babies in their early 20s. The great Eric Rasmussen is here. All
Thanks for
right.
having me.
Oh, you hear that? That's a double Eric alert. Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
We got two Erics in the building.
Gotta
This is
keep
gonna-
them, gotta keep 'em straight.
Gotta not be confused.
This is going to be a mess.
It's going to be a mess. But that's kind of why we love doing this thing, because it always is. But yeah, thank you both for being here. So
Of
fun.
course.
Thank you.
All right, let's get into it. So, okay, and then if the next 15 years go a certain way, Amtrack has a big proposal out there to build rail service through Eau Claire. That's right, folks. Trains. Or, choo-choos, as they are affectionately called. Amtrack
By my
unveiled
2-year-old, I'm not sure.
choo-choos. Amtrak unveiled an ambitious 15-year plan to add and improve their passenger rail service around the whole country, and they chose Eau Claire to be on a new route between Minneapolis and Green Bay and Madison, which is pretty exciting stuff. But it's very early in the process. It's like a 15-year plan. Who knows what's going to happen? Still pretty hypothetical at this point, but we can dream. We can dream. So, what does it all mean? Rail advocacy has been such a thing here in town specifically and in Wisconsin for such a long time, specifically for the high-speed rail kind of thing.
Which this
how
really
fast
isn't.
are we talking
This isn't particularly high speed, from what I understand. You got a lot of rail infrastructure to make it high speed. So this is
Right.
kind of standard commuting speeds, as I would understand it.
Yeah, can't have it all.
And obviously there was that big attempted stimulus thing in 2008 with Obama that Walker famously turned away, that $800 million to kind of start something between Milwaukee and Madison, and that was the biggest, brightest hope to continue on from there up to Minneapolis through Eau Claire, because the existing route goes through La Crosse, which
Right.
we all much maligned. Yeah, goes through Toma and then La Crosse, but then most of it spends its time in Minnesota, and so Wisconsin's been trying to convince it to kind of come through this corridor, which is the fastest growing corridor of the state, through St. Croix County, Hudson, River Falls, Eau Claire, all that kind of area.
It's fun to call it a corridor too. It feels very, very official. Very,
Right.
very
Sorry.
nice.
But there are a few different paths to there being rail here at this point because you've got this new Chippewa St. Croix coalition that started one that's trying to do a public-private version of it, which would be non-Amtrak, which would be something else. So it could happen. That would just be kind of an Eau Claire through this way to Minneapolis. But what we really want is that connectivity into Milwaukee and Chicago and stuff as well. And they're working on a more of a shuttle version that would come out of Toma up to here.
Oh.
And then there's the big Amtrak vision, which would connect it all the way through to everything. So
Either way, I am stoked about the opportunity for additional action sequences on tops of trains. Like there right now is no
Shanghai Noon.
place for
Jackie
that.
Chan on top of the train.
I've been led to believe by TV and movies that every time a train goes anywhere, there's people fighting on top. So
I can't
Yeah.
wait to be just out there gazing out the window, looking at the sprawling vista of Amory, Wisconsin, like holding a book that makes me look really cultured and cool, and like
Contemplating.
just kind of making a thoughtful face every now and then. I feel like that'd be cool. Christina, what do you think? Are you gonna ride the train?
Oh, for sure. I'm excited. I feel like it's a long time coming, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. People have been
been
talking about
60
this for a
years.
while.
It's been 60
like,
years since there's been a train in Eau
Hop
Claire,
on a
yeah.
train and go to the cities.
That sounds beautiful.
Maybe slower than driving, maybe faster. I don't know. Hopefully faster.
And I've always been interested in where they're going to put the station too. And the plan, there was architectural drawings and everything for the station to be where the station used to be, which was up by Banbury Place, just on the north end of downtown over here.
sure.
So that kind of becomes, downtown as a gateway into, the community from all the rail travelers, whoever
Man, that'd
they
be cool.
might be.
Yeah, and that lets travelers come here. That lets us go other places without having to drive.
Yeah.
We can go get drunk in the Twin Cities and have a safe ride back. That sounds fun.
Also, like going to the airport would be so much easier, not
Yeah.
having to park your car anywhere.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, I'm not
Didn't
being
even
funny,
think of
just
that.
realistic.
Plus, trains are so romantic,
Oh, yeah.
Feel like you're going to Hogwarts every time.
Yeah. Going to Hogwarts with somebody fighting on top.
Exactly.
All movies all the time. We are sad people.
That's the only culture we have here in Eau Claire without actual trains. Like, what are we supposed to do? Okay, so since we have the illustrious Eric Rasmussen here, double Eric alert again, we wanted to talk about a recent story that he wrote for Volume 1 about this amateur historian in town named Roy Hoff. A local guy. He's been collecting memorabilia and taking videos all over Eau Claire to preserve, what the city looks like or felt like at any given time over the past 40 years. And he's taken a lot of dashboard videos from his 71 Plymouth, just driving around town, taking in the scenery. It's kind of a cool project. And now with Facebook, he's sharing his archives, and people are really loving taking a look back in time. So, Eric, what was it like meeting the legend?
It's a fascinating story.
Yeah.
He, in the early 80s, has dealt with some health problems his entire life. In the early 80s, went to leave his house one day and lost his sense of sight. And that was shocking enough that he was inspired to want to share the world he saw with his kids someday. So this predates camcorders. So he invented a system where he has a video camera hooked to a VCR in the passenger seat, powered by a gas generator in the trunk of his
crazy.
car,
Yeah.
which he ventilated with a fan. So yeah, he drove around, he produced these videos. He's been doing it for decades, and they kind of started popping up online as
Famously
Facebook.
they were on community television for
Yes,
years.
that-
when
thank you,
so
yes.
people just weird late at night, these driving around videos that are through the city, and you see things that were different than they are now, but now it's easier to look at them whenever you want. Yeah. Obviously with YouTube, because he was just way ahead of his time on a bunch of levels.
Right,
really.
right. And just I was amazed by the idea that, in 81 or, 80s when he's doing these things, right, maybe he had a vision of community television, but certainly he couldn't have envisioned the internet. So he was creating
Or he
thousands.
did.
Ooh, yeah.
He invented the internet.
But yeah, tens of thousands of hours of videos that at the time didn't really have a home. So yeah, the dedication to the project is just
Over 20,000 videos,
Yeah.
right? That's so wild. Just like, and we got pictures of this guy, and his garage is just packed with cool stuff,
Yeah.
just like old videos, memorabilia, all kinds of things. I'm like,
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can read the story obviously, and see
Yes.
photos and a bunch of the video clips and stuff on volume1.org right now. But also, you went ahead and made your own, right? It's part of the experience.
So on a Sunday afternoon, I was like, I'm going to try this. And it was kind of amazing because I just drove around town, a route I've driven hundreds of times, and just the act of recording it made it like special. I was like looking around and like, oh, what did I capture? And it turned it into an artifact, and it was.
See, that's
really
what's funny.
cool
It's like
thing.
that's you didn't do anything that cool.
No, for sure not.
Because today we all do that.
Exactly.
And that's what makes him so
Exactly.
right?
Absolutely.
Because it's just
Absolutely.
so ubiquitous at this point. But in the lengths with the generator and
Yeah.
the fan. So he didn't kill himself doing it.
Right.
It's
There were
really
no
interesting.
explosions.
And then now that he did put all that work in for years, now everyone looks to him like this, legend and historian
Right.
on a local level. And he's got that Facebook group, the Old Town Eau Claire,
Yep.
which is
Yes.
specifically his. So you can look up his group, and that's got 10,000+ members, right?
Plus
too?
all the artifacts and
And then he's got lots of other just basic historical stuff too. Not basic, but the more common things you see of the photos from the 30s and all that kind of stuff is all mixed in with his own stuff. And he's always quick to jump in. And
he
and
replies
answer
to all the
questions.
comments. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
It's a
but
lifelong passion project.
what do you think? I mean, to sum it up, what did you learn from examining a guy like that to put you directly on the spot? What's the ultimate takeaway
I
for
just-
us locally?
How impressed I was by the scope of the work and the dedication, right? Like nothing cool happens without a whole lot of planning and work going in on the front end. Obviously, he spent a lot of years recording these things without much attention, and now that the Old Town Eau Claire Facebook group has, I believe, 20,000 members. I mean, it's a pretty impressive little endeavor. So yeah.
I'm surprised there isn't out of all of the videos that he's done, there isn't one where he hits a turkey or something, or he kind of swerves around. 40 years.
I'm
of
really surprised at that too.
collecting.
You'd think the guy would hit a turkey.
It's one thing doing all this work and say what you will about his dedication, but 40 years of clean driving too. That's that's impressive on its
some
own.
discounts from Geico or something.
His
Safe
insurance
farm,
rate's
safe
got to
driver.
be amazing.
He has documented safe driving. Yes.
But yeah, amazing story, amazing guy. Very cool, taking it into his own hands and just doing something cool that he's passionate about. That's what it's all about. And Eau Claire is a cool place where you can do stuff like that. So good for Roy. And thank you, Eric, for
Of
writing that
course.
story. Good one.
It was a great experience.
Yes. Big events are coming back. It's happening. It's happening. It's true. Ready or not, this summer in the Valley, there's going to be plenty of opportunities to gather in the tens of thousands again, which feels weird even saying that, but it's
I've just
true.
been jonesing to gather in the tens of thousands.
Gathering ones and twos is fine, but 10,000. I need 10,000 people around. There's going to be music festivals like Rockfest and Blue Ox that are happening. But let's start with the biggest of them all. That's right, Farm Technology Days,
Yeah.
baby. People love to look at tractors and skid steers, man. You can't look away, really. But the event is, it's across 3 days. It's expected to get 45,000 people.
It is. It's actually a really, really big deal. And it has not been in Eau Claire County since 1992.
Yeah.
It travels around the state, and it's more than just tractors. There's
Of course. I know.
There's hose and
Skid
rakes.
steers.
it's farm
And-
technology. So
There's
there's
truck.
all kinds of cutting edge things to learn about, which is not just for farmers. It's really, there's stuff to learn about the whole culture of Wisconsin and how we grow food and how we live and how we should be living. There's a lot.
It's
lot
a
to
big
it.
deal. It's a huge deal. And they got Chris Kroeze playing every day for 3 days.
I'm starting to get the impression that big events can only come back with Kroeze's blessing.
Yeah, that's true.
So, there's something there. There's something there. Christina, I know you're excited for Farm Tech Days.
Yeah.
You gonna go?
And then-
45,000 people, though.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of farm tech. Lots of stuff to learn about cheese and cows and corn and what Chris Kroeze's favorite type of cow is.
Yes.
'Cause he wrote a song about that, right? His favorite type of cow?
I think yeah.
I think I
That seems
remember
like a
that
song
from
that you would write.
the songs that I haven't listened to yet.
It's all outdoors, and people are going to be vaccinated. It's happening in July, so I feel like, you don't have to worry about the safety thing.
It'll be
I
good
don't think
times.
there.
Sunshine and fresh air and
It's funny to me to think about Farm Technology Days having the same attendance as a music festival, 45,000 people over 3 days. Can you camp out? It could be fun to
Is
camp.
there an opportunity to rush a field with lawn chairs?
Yeah.
That's my favorite part.
You know.
Yeah.
Or maybe, they could combine it with an existing music festival like Rockfest. They could combine them, go see Rob Zombie, go look at an International Harvester, watch a Nirvana tribute band, go have a cheese curd.
Gardening tips with Snoop Dogg.
So what would you call it? Like Rockfest, and how do you put those two names together to make it one?
Rocking on the farm.
There you go.
Something.
Oh, that's classic.
That's good. I did just to wrap up this topic, I did think of a little game about, so I'm going to say the name of either an exhibit at Farm Technology Days or a band that's playing this year at Rockfest, and you have to tell me which event it's going to be at, okay? So, first, Beef Tent. That's real. Beef Tent.
That's Farm
Rockfest
Tech
or
Days.
Farm Tech. That is Farm Tech Days. Okay,
Tech
good.
Days, yeah.
Slaughter.
Rockfest.
Rockfest. Yes.
It's terrible. The slaughter tent at Farm Tech Days.
Anything but human.
Oh.
Farm Tech.
Ooh.
I'm going Rockfest.
Rockfest. It is Rockfest. All right. Equine.
Farm Tech.
Farm Tech. Okay. Yes. Wild Street.
Rockfest.
Rockfest. Yes. Ride and Drive.
No, Rockfest. No, Farm Tech.
Tech.
Farm Tech Days.
Nice.
Farm Tech Days. Heritage Display.
Farm Tech.
No. Their album is amazing. That is Rockfest for sure.
That's Farm Tech Days. Unfortunately.
I'm confused.
Here's one. How about Corn?
Rockfest.
I'm not going to tell you.
That's going to be Farm
Corn.
Tech.
It's Rockfest, but also both.
Corn. Oh, actual corn.
Corn
That's right. Oh,
is
that's right.
playing
That's
Rockfest.
crazy. Okay, I thought, yeah.
Corn with a K, corn with a C, it's all the same. Oh, wow. Thanks for that's a good warm-up for the games we're going to play later, so thank you guys so much. I think that'll do it for the panel, so thank you both for being here. You're going to come back later. Christina, do you have anything you want to plug? Putting you on the spot.
Oh my goodness, I don't know.
Custard.
Chris Kroeze's new song about cows.
Yes. Get it on iTunes.
Yeah.
Eric, do you have anything to plug?
Actually, any writers out there? Is Barstow and Grand, local literary journals, looking for submissions. So head up our website, check it out.
Good stuff. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break to hear about our sponsors, but our panelists will be back to play some games with us later. And after the break, we're talking with Sara Larsen, so stick around. Nick, one of the reasons we all live in the Chippewa Valley is for the beauty that surrounds us.
Right.
The woods, the water, but to get serious for a second, if you want to enjoy all that splendor, you got to take care of your eyes.
You really do, and that's why it's so helpful to have a full-service operation like the Chippewa Valley Eye Clinic right here in Eau Claire.
Right, we've told you about them on the podcast before. They offer routine eye exams for glasses and contacts, LASIK surgery, cataract surgery, eyelid surgery, treatment for glaucoma,
Yeah,
and so much
not only
more.
all of that, but now they have expanded their services to include vitreoretinal surgery as well. And that's a big deal for this area because previously some patients maybe had like a retinal detachment.
Ooh, that sounds serious.
No, it is, and they would often have to be sent to the Twin Cities to undergo surgery. But now we have a highly qualified provider offering these services right here in Eau Claire.
That's so great. So whatever you need to take care of those eyes, don't put it off. Call to schedule your appointment today.
Find more information at cveclinic.com. That's Chippewa Valley Eye Clinic. Seeing the future.
Welcome back to the Volume 1 podcast, y'all. Thanks again to our panelists, Eric and Christina, for being awesome and funny and great. They'll be back a bit later to play some games with us, but first, we have a very special guest today. Creative Economy Month is nearly upon us here in Eau Claire, and our guest has all the deets. She's a true mover and shaker in Eau Claire, and she wears so many hats she could open a haberdashery. For real, folks, our guest today is a UW
That's a
Eau
hat
Claire.
shop, in case you didn't know, Sarah.
Yeah, the first haberdashery in Eau Claire, maybe.
We need one.
I'm a big hat person, so I might look into that.
Yeah.
You guys gave me the idea.
Our guest
10%,
today
10%.
is a UW Eau Claire grad and the Business and Communications Director for Downtown Eau Claire, Inc., as well as the City of Eau Claire's Economic Development Department, which she started almost 2 years ago. She's a co-owner of 4Ps Consulting, and she's part of the Eau Claire Public Arts Council, Western Dairyland's Women's Advisory Board, the City of Eau Claire Loan Administration Board, the Redevelopment Authority, so many things. Please give a warm welcome to Sara Larsen.
Thank
That's
you,
a lot of
guys.
Eau Claire stuff.
That's a lot of stuff.
It felt like a lot, yeah, and it does feel like a lot, but it's all great stuff. Which I'm
and
thankful.
just had your second child,
Yes.
and you're on maternity leave
Congrats.
now, so you're hanging out like off-duty time here. This is
Yeah.
how dedicated Sara is to this community.
I will say I did join my first work call about a couple days after I got home from the hospital
Oh,
because
wow.
there's exciting stuff happening and I can't miss it. So yeah, thanks
Can't
for having
stop.
me, guys.
Well, thank you for being here. That's awesome. So, creative economy. I want to clear that term up right away. Like, what do we mean when we talk about Eau Claire's creative economy?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of things that you guys do highlight already in Volume 1. There's so many things going on, and the beautiful thing about creative economy is it means different things to different people. So I wish I had a really great definition for you, but it's really just celebrating, the artists and the creators we have here, and it just gives Eau Claire that vibe, as we all talk about. We have a lot of it going on, and I think it's been happening for so long, but we now have different tools to highlight it. So whether it be the multiple galleries we have hidden here but are starting to come to light a little bit more, or just the person that wants to try out painting or knitting. We have craft supply stores here who can help with that, and lots of knowledge in the area. So from small things to really big things, such as our sculpture tour and murals that are happening more in the downtown and Eau Claire area.
And all that stuff is awesome. The core of that is the art and the music and those kinds of things too. But I think sometimes they can kind of, it bleeds out into other professions and industries and things. Architects and designers and all those kinds of things too can be kind of part of that whole infrastructure. And they are often inspired by the heart of it, what you're talking about, which is the art and the music and the stuff. So to get all those other creative industries kind of engaged in the community and attract those types of workers and stuff too, you have to have a strong creative economy heart to it, like you're saying.
Yeah, and I would say too that the interesting thing about that is sometimes it's hard to get data because it does mean so many things to different people about how much creative endeavors we have in Eau Claire. So.
And it used to be just a week, Creative Economy Week, and now we got a whole month.
Yeah.
So we must be doing something right.
Right, yeah, it is celebrated at a state level at a week, and last year it was, and we had some in-person plans, and of course it's in May, so we had to pivot a little bit and do a lot more online, but it just showed us that we have so much going on, and I pitched it to everybody this year, like, what do you think about a month? And they said, let's do it, and I said,
Okay,
all
so
right.
but it's part of a statewide thing, right?
Correct.
The week is, but
Correct.
we're the only ones doing the month because we're
That I know of.
Oh,
I
wow,
haven't
okay,
researched
yeah.
it fully, but
We got
yes.
a month's worth of stuff, whereas
do.
other
Yeah.
cities
Yeah.
maybe are falling behind a little bit.
Yeah, so keep up, but
And how do you think? I mean, obviously the last year, we've talked about this a lot on the podcast, and everybody has everywhere. How hard it's been, and it's especially hard on a lot of creative industries, especially that core that we're talking about, like musicians and artists and things. I mean, how much of this event this year, do you think we can raise enough interest? And there's going to have to be a even stronger wave of support than there has been in the past for this kind of stuff. Like we're now getting ready to announce the concert series coming back in Phoenix Park on Thursdays and things like that. And we're going to be, raising money again and stuff for the bands. And it's like, hey, these people have not performed for a year or more. What can this event and this months of activities do to kind of shed light on that? And how do you think we can help support that scene and double down now?
Yeah, I think that, some of your last guests have talked about that there's this pent-up energy that people are going to want to be at all these events, and you guys run so many of them, you hear those questions a lot. So I think it's just really going out, supporting more than you ever have. I mean, obviously a lot of us who are fortunate to keep our jobs, we did get stimulus checks. Like maybe let's route some of that towards our artists and our creatives, and really just shopping local, as we all talk about. But I think it's just pulling back and saying, how was this last year without our creative in-person events and things like that? Okay, well, let's make sure that they really survive well, and what does that look like to everybody? And we are pulling in a couple of culinary events this year as well.
Great.
And so
Yes.
that's another theme that I know everybody's been doing their best to support restaurants by doing takeout and things like that. But just those people and those creatives really make up the fabric of a community, and I think that everybody really realizes that now.
And especially here, I mean, I think the event scene became such a deep part of the identity here in the last 10 years, 5 especially, that this was, I think, particularly gutting to a community that did start to identify and create an identity around that so much. Visit Eau Claire and some of those organizations and stuff were using that as the main, identifying feature in the core of what this place is, why you should come visit, or why you should be proud to live here or move here or anything like that. And so to have that taken away was really tough, and we got to build that back now, and it's going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah, it was at a point where it was like, man, there's three amazing things happening on one night, and like before, I feel like 10 years ago even, it was like the whole city had like one thing to do together, and now it's spread between
kind of got
so
a
many
little
different cool
spoiled and
things.
maybe took it for granted. But the great thing is too that we learned some adaptability, and some of the events carry through this year, like the gallery window walk, where we're pulling art out of 7 different galleries and from different artists, and putting it at about over 20 locations in the downtown and outside of downtown, so people can just go look and observe, and it's not so time sensitive. It's going to be happening all through the month of May. So we learned some great things that we were like, how do we keep this and build on it, but also in person too.
Man, just walking through downtown Eau Claire, you don't even have to go in anywhere or do anything. It's like it's a gallery of its own at this point with all the murals and now the gallery windows and stuff. That's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole month. I mean, there's opera singing, there's rock and roll, a bunch of live streams and pasta making and all kinds of stuff going on. So like, how does all that come under one window?
Yeah, and that's what I think the thing was when we were like, can we do a month? I was like, I'm an ambitious person, but everybody said, if you take a weekend, we take a weekend, and we also were trying not to put too much pressure on it. Sometimes when you're planning all these events, it's like we have to do them this and this and this, and it's like, let's let the creatives and the artists be good at what they do. They're already doing it a lot of times. It was just saying, tell us what you're doing, so you can put it on a calendar, right? So I think that people can. The beautiful thing about it being a month too is if you miss the 1 week or the one weekend with a big event, there's other weekends that are here for you to enjoy.
So exciting.
So this is awesome, but there's a big energy happening in general right now around downtown, and with putting that piece of your hat on, or, from the haberdashery store.
Just one, you switch them out.
We're seeing, big demolition project between Farwell and Barstow for that Wilson Square apartment project. There's the Andante project on the railroad lot, which is like the Galloway Grill parking lot. People kind of know it as that.
Yep.
That's a huge mixed use development. I think that's 5 stories, and there's some commercial in there, and there's a bunch of housing and stuff, of course, too. Andante, meaning that's a musical notation,
Correct.
right? Isn't that the whole thing?
At walking pace.
Walking pace, so it's a
you're right.
walkable.
Which I always want to say Allegro, and I'm like, no, that's fast. Just enjoy it. So,
But I mean, there's just a lot of projects happening and more to mention. I mean, the Cannery District thing kind of going forward. How do you read those tea leaves, and what's moving forward, and what is most exciting to you?
Yeah. Oh man, that's why I love my job and all the hats I do wear, because it's the downtown, it's the creative events that bring people here, but then that tells people, hey, let's invest in this community more. People want to keep moving here. As you mentioned earlier, we're growing a bigger corridor, in the state, and so that's super exciting. So the other thing is, during the pandemic, people were like, is development going to continue? Are people going to be nervous about it? And
it felt like a big pause.
Yeah, and we weren't quite sure, right? We had to see how it shook out. And so to see developers coming back saying, we're ready, we're going to keep going. So for me, I'm excited. I mean, the Cannery District's been talked about a lot too in different areas. And so we did get our first big interest in there with P&R properties out of Duluth. They built one up in Superior, and they were really excited to work with the community. And that's what is really nice with some of these developers.
And we're seeing, John Mogensen has had a lot of buildings and stuff downtown. He's been a major developer of kind of, rehabbing historic buildings and things for a long time. The Pablo Group has kind of come on now and is doing right now they're doing the U.S. Bank building, turning that into more apartments, and they had done that. The Guild project before over on the river by the YMCA. And then JCap Real Estate is the one doing Wilson Square, which is that big one. And they have also the Wells Fargo building, the Grand, which is the one that's
the rooftop bar.
Attempting to do the rooftop bar, along with some office and some residential there too. So those are all local developers. And so those are groups that have kind of grown into doing some major projects, but we are starting to see now other major outside projects. You mentioned the one from Duluth, and then there's the
Merge
Urban Development,
Iowa and Madison.
Iowa and Madison. They're doing the Andante thing.
Correct, and the transit project as well.
Yeah, and that's still being negotiated, right? That's not a done deal yet. So where the bus transfer center is now, they're going to build a big building that has a newer, better, actually reasonably done transfer center, and then another 6 stories of apartments and stuff above that.
That is a done deal with Merge. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So
So that was kind of like they want to same thing with P&R companies out of Duluth, and then properties, and then also Merge, as they say we want to invest X amount into a community, and for some reason they found Eau Claire, which I do know for sure that the Merge one had a UW Eau Claire grad from it as well. So she was very familiar with the area. So the transit was the first part, and then moved over to the railroad lot, and then they said, okay, we got to see how it all turns out. Maybe we'll continue to do more, and that's the same thing with the one in the.
Well, what does this mean? I mean, when you have, they're all just trying to make money. I mean, they're businesses and things, but I mean that we're getting so many looks from these outside development firms. Is that normal, pretty standard, or is that something to really be thankful for?
Yeah, I think-
or is it something to be wary of?
Well, I mean, I would say thankful, first off, right? Because there's people who are interested in our community, and I think it's because of all the great work we've all been working together to achieve, which is come here, settle here, great place to live, great place to raise a family, and do things after you leave, and also not be stuck in traffic all day, which train would also help that.
Yeah,
I know
sure,
we talked about
right.
that a little bit, right? Especially with people working remote. So the wary part, I would say, is a little less, right? It's just more understanding how they do fit with our community. Sometimes we always encourage them, talk to us, let's learn about our community so that you don't just plop a property here that isn't really invested and isn't going to serve our community either.
Yeah.
And what do you think about all of the, anytime there's a project anywhere at all,
Yeah.
and there's social media involved, people jump in and say, it's not affordable, or there should be affordable housing, or should be, housing for homeless and things like that. Obviously, major issues that need attention. These projects, I know the Andante thing is actually considered, workforce housing. That's not like subsidized or low income necessarily, but it's meant to be affordable. The Wilson Square thing is full market rate, so that's, higher priced sort of stuff. Same with the Guild that was just finished. What do you see? I mean, how does the city work to address the concerns of the people who are asking about those types of needs?
It's, well, one problem or one solution isn't going to fix all of our problems, correct? So that's the thing that we always try to talk about, is that we need a variety of different types of housing so that something else can open in a more affordable area so that somebody else can move in there. And then, housing, right? The housing market's crazy right now. So it's that balance. And so when I took the job, I didn't know a lot about it either, other than what people hear and say is, oh, there's not enough. And,
Right.
and so being on the inside now, it's like, well, it's a really big puzzle that we are all trying to solve, but there's a lot of solutions that we have to have in place in order to continue to address such things as homelessness. And the projects that we're talking about also contribute to our tax base, right? So that helps us with our amenities and things such as that.
And address it, on the backside potentially.
Right,
but,
which people don't always see at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I guess you have to some degree you have to count on the developers to bring the project. The city itself isn't going to be able to build housing like that, so you need developers that are open to that and have to kind of keep those conversation lines open. So
Yeah.
And there's, we're losing a couple of. I know you talk about social media comments, and one thing
you're not going to
readers
talk. You're going to bring up parking.
parking.
Oh, no.
We're losing a
Guys,
couple
I thought
parking
that
lots.
was on my contract.
As soon as you said we're losing something, I'm like, oh,
Losing
come
some
on.
parking lots, so I know people are. The answer is use the parking garages that exist.
Part of the answer,
but
sure.
yeah, I guess people are going to ask. So
Yes, absolutely.
where are we going to park?
Yeah, so Downtown Eau Claire Inc. is working with the city to, they started putting out the communication already about where to park and how far it is, and just kind of trying to break down that, hey, if you do park in the parking ramps, it's not that far of a walk. We have a beautiful downtown, enjoy it. So I think it's just more of the information, looking out ahead of time. There's bigger municipalities who are doing how many spots are actually in there, and so there's a parking study so people know what they can get to. And I know when I go to a big city, I research that, so I'm nerdy like that too. But there's I would encourage people to take the bus when they can, if they have that convenience. Bikes, we have a great trail system. But
Scooters. There's some
yes,
scooters
electric
maybe coming.
Scooters are coming. When you guys talked about the train station, if it would be over here, right? It might
Yeah.
look different than it used to. So there's a lot of options out there, but it might involve walking. I think it's just the Midwest mentality that you can park right outside where you want to shop. And we have so many great places to see downtown that if you walk past 9 creameries or, ice cream places on the way, it's okay. And you can get a couple scoops on your way.
And if everyone's
Fuel that
windows
walk.
is like an art gallery, there's murals. Like enjoy the walk
Yeah,
a little bit.
but there will be some just additional parking brought online
Yeah.
that wasn't before to help try to alleviate that. And some of our lots are going to be bagged meters, so there isn't any charge for it. So that all that information is on the Downtown Eau Claire website and also the City of Eau Claire social media. So look out for it.
A lot of good stuff happening.
Well, before you ask, just park. you can. Now we've answered it for you. So there you go.
Yeah, really good answer, huh?
Well, great. Thank you so much, Sarah. This has been awesome. You're going to stick around, play some games?
Yes.
Okay.
And just remember to go check out Creative Economy Month this month. We have lots of things happening. And once again, this creative economy, it contributes to why developers and people want to live here. And it's really important to continue to invest in those communities.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Folks, we'll be right back with some games. Stick around for more Volume 1 podcast. All right, Nick, we've got a sponsor to tell folks about, Deborah Becker of State Farm Insurance, at deborahbecker.com.
Yeah, okay, a little insider info here. When we decided to create this podcast, the very first business we wanted to check with for sponsorship was Deborah Becker from State Farm. And that's because She is always up for the new, the experimental, and anything that she thinks is good for the people of Eau Claire and the Chippewa Valley. And she has supported so much stuff from Volume 1 over the years, new publications and community events, videos, really just all kinds of different things.
Absolutely. And, it's not just Volume 1 either. I mean, it's the entire community. I mean, they're pumping money into community projects like the Boyd Park Plus, the Sculpture Tour, concerts, art installations, just so much stuff that the entire community can share.
Yeah, it's cool. And that's the thing, because to some degree, to people like us, we're just lay people. Insurance is insurance. We don't know the difference. So
I don't.
Sometimes you pick your people based on who shares your values in a community, who do you think's making some cool things happen. And for us, for that Volume 1 anyway, that's Deborah Becker with State Farm.
And it's pretty cool to actually work with the people that are sponsoring the podcast.
Totally. Deb and Casey there at State Farm, they have their office right downtown, right on Barstow Street. They have everything insured that Volume 1 does, and in my life for a bunch of years. And really, they're just approachable, available, understandable, and above all, they're just decent human beings.
And that helps.
It does help. So if you need insurance-y things, please consider visiting DeborahBecker.com.
And we're back with the Volume 1 podcast, folks. What time is it? It's game time. Our panelists, Christina Wolff and Eric Rasmussen, are back alongside Sara Larsen to play some silly little games all about Chippewa Valley stuff. We got a whole theme music for it. But thanks again for being here, y'all. This is going to be fun. Of course. Each of our contestants is playing for a local nonprofit of their choice. Whoever wins our gauntlet of games, their nonprofit gets a free ad in Volume 1. Pretty cool. So, Sara, let's start with you. Who are you playing for today?
The community table.
Awesome.
I love that on their website they say we feed people and their souls or spirits. And I think that's really nice.
That is nice. Fantastic. All right, Christina, who are you playing for?
I'm going to be playing for the Chippewa Valley Wildlife Rehabilitation Center.
Nice.
Looking at their website, they have a lot of possums on there. Doing a little research, I learned a fun fact. Possums eat about 5,000 ticks a year. So whether you think they're
Yes.
adorable
Thanks,
or
possums.
terrifying, I think we can all get behind eating ticks.
Better than a tick. Thank you, Christina. Eric, who are you playing for?
I'm going to play for the Ellie Phillips Memorial Public Library Story Builder campaign. They're making good headway, but they need a little more help to get that third floor goal going. So
Fantastic. All right, cool. Let's do this thing. Round 1 is a group game, so we're all playing this one, and this game is called Run the Numbers. Okay, so it's a kind of a guessing game with numbers, sort of Price is Right style. So I'm going to give you the question, and you're going to write down your number, and the person who's closest to the actual number without going over will win. The first person to get 2 of these correct wins the round and goes directly to round 3. Pretty cool. Okay, you ready to play Run the Numbers?
The big stakes are high. Let's
Yes,
do it.
looking for a yes.
Nervous.
Yes,
For a
yes.
yes. Okay, so it's pretty self-explanatory. So you'll have 10 seconds to write down your answers, and let's do it. So this first one, lambing time at Govind's farm is such an iconic springtime activity here in the valley, of course, where every year families can go and look at all the baby farm animals, maybe hold them, flood their social media feeds with pictures of cute animals. So they just wrapped up for 2021, so you can't go do it anymore. But according to Govind's Facebook page, they had 18 piglets, 200 chicks, 25 baby goats, and how many lambs? 10 seconds. How many lambs? There's a lot of them.
Well,
it's called lambing time. And that's time. Okay. All right. Let's see your answer, Sara. What do you have?
I went with 30 because
30
I
lambs.
felt like a lot
Okay.
was 30, but maybe not.
All right, Eric.
Ooh.
32.
32.
Okay. And Christina.
And a jinx with another 30.
Oh wow, you were actually all off. There
Yay.
I was taking the average of all of them.
There
Okay.
were 125 lambs.
that's a ton of lambs.
That's a
Holy
lot of
lambs.
lambs. So Eric, I think that means you're the winner with 32 somehow.
Nice.
Good job. All right, let's move on to the next one. Osseo Family Restaurant, which is a family restaurant in Osseo. They recently had an iconic chicken statue stolen from outside of their restaurant.
I read about
and the
this.
owners are now offering a $1,000 reward and a free meal to anybody who returns their chicken. So in feet, not chicken's feet, in feet, how tall is the chicken statue? pretty unfortunate. It's statue. If you have a statue outside your place, it's like meant to get stolen, I feel like. But that reward. Time. All right, Christina, let's start with you. How many feet was the chicken?
20 feet.
20 feet? Okay. Eric?
I'm using my Price is Right strategy.
One
no.
foot.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's a dirty move. Okay.
That is a dirty move. Now I
Sara.
know what type of player Eric
Sara.
is. Okay. 15 feet.
15 feet. Oh, the answer is 8 feet tall. Eric wins again.
I feel terrible.
That
I
means
just wanted
that
to be a
helps.
giant
I
chicken.
did write 27 for something. Write something else.
Bad with numbers.
Yeah.
wow, great job, Eric. So Eric wins round 1, and you immediately go to round 3, which is cool.
okay.
So let's move on to round 2, which is called the losers game.
Ooh.
And that's for Sara and Christina, the losers. Sorry, not meant to be insulting, but this game is a little bit more creative. We're still going to be writing down answers. Eric, you're not completely out of this game. You actually have a pretty pivotal role. This game is called the Director's Chair. Okay, so we're coming up with the name of movie titles today. So the two losers, Christina and Sara, you are aspiring filmmakers, and Eric, you're the studio exec who's about to green light the next big picture. Okay, so I'll give you the plot or idea behind the movie, and you have to come up with the title for it. And then Eric, you're going to say which one you think should be green lit.
Okay.
And so it's best 2 out of 3. You'll have 30 seconds for each time to write down your movie title. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
Are we ready to play
following
the
you.
director's chair?
All right.
All right, so first, this is a family-friendly adventure movie where all of the sculptures in the Eau Claire sculpture tour come to life when nobody's looking. You know,
Yes.
a la Toy Story or Night at the Museum. So what should this movie be called? I think there could be something there.
Oh, that dog.
Maybe it's already happening.
That dog with the paw?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's really the
man.
only one I want to come to life. It's adorable. Come on.
yeah.
It's beautiful. I don't want the farmer's market lady.
Oh, boy.
Oh, it'd be fun having a nice little grandmother presence around.
Or she could be the villain.
She could be the villain, you know? Lots of opportunities. gonna be a good title here. And perfect timing with the jingle. All right, that is time. All right, Sara, let's start with you. What is your sculpture tour
I
movie
pride
going to be
myself on
called?
being very creative, but I don't know, like a sculpture strut.
Sculpture Strut. Not too bad. Christina, let's see what you
So,
got.
Went with some alliteration. Rocky rocks the park. Rocky is the sculpture.
Rocky.
Made
Okay,
of
Rock-
marble.
Like, actually, that's the name. Like,
Yeah,
you know
yeah, yeah.
that?
Rocky's the main character.
Rocky rocks the park.
Got it.
He's not seeing your vision.
I don't think so. There's
right.
not
No,
a real sculpture.
I was going to be
there.
really
That's
impressed
okay.
if you knew the names of all the sculptures. But you're just, yeah.
Well, let's pretend.
All right, studio exec. Eric, what's your pick?
As an English teacher, that alliteration has to be rewarded. So sculpture strut.
Sculpture
Yeah,
Strut.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Good job, Sara. All right, round 2. Are we ready? All right, this is your classic zombie movie where a deadly infection breaks out among maskless bar hoppers on Water Street. What should this movie be called? 30 seconds.
Oh boy.
It's just something that I thought of. You know, I mean, an infection breaking out.
So it's a documentary.
At the
This is
bars.
a nonfiction film. Okay.
This is gonna be it's a documentary zombie film. Lots of drama. Just imagine. Nighttime, the moonlight, the river's right there. There's bridges, there's bars.
Feels really on the nose for what's happening.
All right, and that is time. All right, Christina, let's start with you. Maskless bar hopper zombie movie.
All
What
right.
you got?
It's called 2020. Choo Choo. I added a train. There's a train in the movie
There's
now.
a train. Zombie train. Okay, 2020. Choo Choo. Okay, perfect. Sara, what do you got?
The Revenge of the Pickle.
Oh, boy.
Revenge of the Pickle. Ooh.
I was so hoping for a
Pickle
pickle
return.
reference.
All right, studio exec Eric, which one are you going to green
I gotta
lights?
go choo choo. The sneeze
Yeah.
reference plus trains. That works
Really
on levels. There's
wrapped
levels.
it all
Fantastic.
up, actually.
Yeah.
Choo Choo. Love it. Good job, Christina. You can do this for real. All right, round 3. This is the tiebreaker. So, Eric, you're effectively choosing who's going to play you in the final round.
Oh
So,
boy.
Okay, so this movie is a Bon Iver superhero origin story where, after recording his latest Grammy-winning album, Justin Vernon eats a rare mushroom found in the wooded wilderness of his remote cabin, which gives him strange powers like supersonic falsetto, a beard that shoots lasers, and the ability to auto-tune his enemies into submission. What should this movie be called?
Another true story. This is
Another
this is
true-
a
yeah,
whole-
yeah.
It's all documentary.
I got to get some of those mushrooms from out there. Seems fun. Supersonic falsetto. That's kind of an Aquaman thing, I think.
Absolutely. Beard lasers.
Beard laser.
Brilliant.
Laser beard. Sounds like a pirate. A pirate movie. With music.
A futuristic sci-fi pirate movie.
There's lots of
Hipster,
angles.
emo, future, pirate. So yeah, that's amazing.
And that is time. All right. Sarah, the Bon Iver superhero origin story. What
Started
do you
one
got?
and I was like, meh. Bon Iver saving EC.
Saving EC. Bon Iver
Nice,
saving
nice.
EC. Nice. Okay, Christina, what do you got?
J. Vern learns to fly. It's more of a family-friendly children movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming of age.
Coming of
pirate
age.
future. Yeah. Christina, I gotta go with the J. Vern learns to fly. Yeah.
Wow. Congrats, Christina. That is
Thank you.
great. You
Thank
won the
you.
losers game.
And I have a new life aspiration.
I think you got a real talent for this. Sarah, unfortunately, that means you lose the losers game,
Yeah.
which is, hard thing to take. But it doesn't mean you're completely out of round 3 either. Actually, you have a pretty important role in round 3, which is a game we like to call What's in the Koozie.
Ooh.
And Joel's bringing the koozie in here. He's going to give it to Sarah. So, Sarah, that koozie is full of all kinds of little prompts about just different Chippewa Valley stuff. And it's kind of a catchphrase style game. So we're going to have 2 minutes. Sarah's going to give you a bunch of clues without saying actually what's on the card. And Eric and Christina, you're going to shout out your answers, whoever gets it
All right.
right
No
first.
offense.
Whoever gets more than the other wins the whole thing.
Wait, is it how many that's in the cup?
Oh, no,
As many
no.
as you get right.
Sarah will draw one and
But
give you a
right
prompt.
lower, because then that's the strategy. Yeah.
Just think catchphrase. Christina, we've played catchphrase.
Yeah.
Yeah, just think that.
I'm just glad I lost because this is my jam. Here we go.
All right, this is going to be fun. So 2 minutes on the clock. Shout out your answers, remember. I'll be keeping score over here. And Sarah, take it away.
All right, Kmart no more.
Hy-Vee.
Ooh, one for Eric.
Barstow Street saxophones. Saxophones and keys and drums, and it happens every April. And it can't
Jazz
happen-
Fest.
Thank you.
Ooh, one for
Here we go, go
Christina.
fast.
Tied up.
Oh man, you cannot play the dice game here. You'll get in trouble. Big old fines
Yes.
at the dice game.
With the story with the guy in the thing.
Okay, I'm gonna pass it for
Good
now.
throw it out, yeah,
yeah. Okay. Take your kids here for water. Oh no. Slides. Okay, here we go.
Get rid of that one, too.
Stout's mascot. Stout's mascot. UW. Stout.
Oh.
Is it a bird?
Not red, but
Blue Devil.
Thank
Blue
you.
Devils, one for
Whoopies.
Eric. Okay.
All right. The place where you would take a boat in our neighboring community that no one knows is over there.
Lake.
Like with
a-
soda?
Like
Yeah.
Lake
Lake.
Altoona?
Yep. there it is.
Ooh,
All right.
tied up at 2. 45
All right.
seconds
You
left.
can buy lots of fancy groceries here, but it's kind of hidden. They also have a brewery in it. Fancy groceries. They have food there. They have beverages. Not tea, but
Coffee. Grounds.
thank you.
3 for Eric. 30 seconds left.
All right. Basketball. Blue Gold play basketball here. Nope. Okay.
Arena.
You got one of them.
Thorn Arena.
Yes, there you go.
yes. Dance the
Tied
night
up
away.
at 3.
Dance the night away in Vienna.
The Viennese ball?
Yep.
Ooh, one for Christina. 10 seconds.
Ooh, they Chippewa Falls grocery chain.
Gordy's?
Yep.
Ooh, and that is
and mac and cheese
tied.
pizza. Mac and cheese pizza. Oh,
Toppers?
Toppers.
Buzzies.
Buzzies.
You're looking for Buzzies.
Yeah,
Oh,
OG for me.
Oh, wow.
Christina had 5. Woo! Eric had 3. Christina, congrats. You won our gauntlet of
you.
games. And the Chippewa Valley Wildlife Rehabilitation Fund will get a free ad in Volume 1 for those possums eating our ticks all summer. Congrats, Christina. That was fun, guys. Thank you so much.
Of course.
That was fun. That was fun.
We're going to be right back with more Volume 1 podcasts, so stick around. Thank you all again for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Nick, we got to talk about one of our amazing sponsors, Royal Credit Union.
Oh, heck yeah. I love talking about them. They've been with us since the beginning of the podcast. They've been involved with a ton of cool stuff that we do at Volume 1, and they always have cool stuff to talk about.
Yeah, and we've talked about their financial tips or their Money Donuts podcast.
Tasty one.
But today I want to talk about their nonprofit, the RCU Foundation.
Yes, yeah, the foundation. That's where all the money they raise through that group goes directly back into the community by supporting projects and nonprofits in town that really are doing good for everybody around here.
Definitely. And here's a cool thing. With every purchase you make with a Royal Credit Union debit card, they put up to 5 cents directly into the foundation. So you buy a beer, boom, that's a new exhibit at the Chippewa Valley Museum.
Yeah.
You buy some groceries, bam.
Bam.
That helps countless people at the Family Support Center. Have an egg roll, and boom.
Boom.
You're helping support the Eau Claire Library.
Bam.
Boom.
Man, you got the better lines on this. Essentially, that it is that simple with the foundation. Last year, the RCU Foundation gave more than $500,000 back to the Chippewa Valley, which is just so cool to be able to do that.
Very cool.
But that's really Royal Credit Union for you. That's what they do. They're turning small change into some big things around here.
Welcome back to the Volume 1 podcast, y'all. Wow, that was a fun, chaotic round of games. They just get weirder and weirder the more we do them, I feel like.
Yeah, the chaos is there each time.
It's baked into the whole thing. So. But yeah, that's episode 8 in the books. Felt good about this one. Fun crew. I want to thank our panelists, Eric Rasmussen and Christina Wolff, for being here. Both so funny and weird, funny people. Good stuff. And Sara Larsen, obviously from Decky's, super smart, making cool stuff happen in town. But yeah, great episode. We covered trains, the arts, beef tent.
Possums, eating ticks. We got to get a possum on the pod.
Have a pod possum. We should have a mascot.
We're all anti-ticks here,
Yeah.
I think. So
Yeah, can't have a wood tick as a mascot. But yeah, this is such a good one. As always, hey, make sure you go and click subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, and leave us a review too. That helps people listen to this thing. Give us a good review too if you're feeling inspired. The more reviews we get, the more people listen. So do that. And I want to thank our sponsors once again, Royal Credit Union, DeborahBecker.com, and the Chippewa Valley Eye Clinic for their continued support. Couldn't do all of this without that. So thank you all so much. Let's see. Thanks to Chase on the sponsorships, and Joel and Alex and Nick, of course, on tech, and all of you for listening. It's been a great one. My name is Eric Christensen. We'll see y'all next time on the Volume 1 podcast. Hey folks, thanks for watching the Volume 1 podcast. Hey, while you're here, if you like what you see, click subscribe. Maybe like the video, share the video with your friends. Check out other episodes of the podcast. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you for watching.